Disqualification of Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc from their respective sixth and second positions in the US Grand Prix has brought the underbody flank into the front line of F1 news for the first time since Michael Schumacher's Benetton was excluded from victory at Spa 29 years ago. What is the plank and why has it suddenly come back into A's after so long? To fully understand requires some F1 history. The compulsory fitment of the plank at the centre of the underfloor was part of a raft of reactions to the fatal accidents of Imola 1994 of Roland Ratzenberger and Ayrton Senna. A contributory case of the Senna accident was believed to be underbody floor airflow stalling as the car ran on low under pressure tyres following several slow laps behind an underpowered safety car. These were flat bottom F1 cars. F1 regulations had outlined ground effect Venturi floors and stipulated flat bottoms from 1983 to 2021, but even so ground effects could be uninvented. And flat bottom cars generated by its running at the front of the floor low and the rear higher. As the air rushed to fill the tiny gaps between the road and the front of the floor, so was its pressure, which was reduced, by which it increased its speed. The lower the pressure, the greater the difference to the atmospheric pressure above, and the harder the car was sucked into the ground. The diffuser at the back of the floor gave a big expansion chamber into the air, pulling it through that tiny gap at the front of the floor even faster. The principle is the same as the Venturi floor cars in 1977 to 82 and 2022 till present day, but until the heavily shaped tunnels at either side of a flat central area to accelerate the air faster, a full flat bottom could, and thereby create more underbody downforce. Whether it's a flat floor or a tunnel car, the part of the floor sitting closest to the ground is the throat, and it's around that point that the car is sucked down being hardest, as that is where the lowest air pressure will be. Under the flat bottom regulation, that throat is at the front of the floor. With the tunnel cars, it's towards the back, just before the diffuser. The closer to the ground throat point runs, the more downforce is created, and the increase in the exponential in the last few millimetres. So with the early flat bottom cars, there was a competitive imperative to run the floor as low as possible to the front, but too low and it could stall completely, giving a dangerously sudden and big reaction in downforce. The underbody plank was stipulated in 94 to counter this possibility. It ran up the centre of the underfloor and was 10mm deep, which meant that the gap at the front of the floor would in theory never close completely. It reduced the amount of downforce it was possible to generate, but it ensured the floor could not fully stall. Anticipating that teams would simply try and wear the plank away on the track so as to run as low as possible, the governing body stipulated that the plank should still be at least 9mm deep along its length and measured after the race. A very hard weighing wood called Jabberick was used for these planks initially, but today they are made from a glass reinforced plastic composite. Schumacher was excluded in Spa 94 when the front of the plank was found to be between 7 to 8mm deep after the race. The team appealed on the grounds this is from curb damage after a spin. Although the appeal was rejected, the incident led to a more robust way of mounting the plank using metal mounting points at specific heights, so giving more protection to the plank in such instance. This had the effect of switching off the plank problem immediately. Furthermore, the way aerodynamic proceeds led to designers seeking to increase the volume of air being fed to the underfloor so that the gap no longer needs to be quite so tiny. Other ways were found to accelerate airflow harder without the on and off peakiness of the tiny gap, such as barge boards and enhanced and Coke bottle body profiles, which accelerates the air along the outer floor and converged it behind the diffuser, so putting harder on the underbody airflow. As such, plank wear became something of a non-issue for decades, but the reintroduction of Venturi tunnels with ground effect cars in 2022 as part of the new regulations brought the plank into the reckoning. With the throat now towards the back of the floor and the volume of the underbody air no longer limited by the height of the front of the floor, teams were trying to run as low as possible to the ground to maximise how hard these tunnels work, and was therefore probably a limitation once again. This might have reared its head last year, except for every team found they could not run their cars as low as they expected because they ran into porpoising problems, even at ride heights greater than the imposed by 10mm plank. For every car except Red Bull, the plank was usually running a limitation of how they could run porpoising was. Red Bull had a floor design that was more tolerant of low ride heights and compliant rear suspension, generally averted on the porpoising problem, and from the start could run lower than any car without introducing bouncing or porpoising. This was and remains a major part of its downforce advantage over the field, but that meant for Red Bull, plank wear did not become a potential issue, particularly at very fast or bumpy circuits when it was fully compressing its suspension. Red Bull became very aware of the need to ensure plank legality with the increased downforce of this year's car, has been even more the case, and the team has clearly become very adept at predicting what the static ride heights need to minimise plank grounding but retaining as much downforce as possible. Other teams are now just getting to the level of aerodynamic development where plank water and not proposing as a limitation, and that seems to be what caught Mercedes and Ferrari out on the bumper coyote circuit with sprint and early part firming not helping. They were just as optimistic they were pitched the rear ride height, and it appeared that Red Bull were running cars that are higher. Could that contribute to the Max Verstappen's reduced level of dominance? I don't know, but that would be a question that one does to be asked in future weekends. Hey guys, that's it for you. Thanks so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, links, also the daily F1 news and subscribe to the channel. It's going to be greatly appreciated. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out.